this video we shall be learning how to divide our measurements by 2. That's our biggest circumference. I'll be working with the same measurements. In this method you don't need to draw any border line. So the first thing to do in this method is to get our shoulder. My shoulder is 7 inches. Shoulder is 7 inches. And our armhole is, I told us how to get our armhole measurements. I said this bust divide by 6 plus 1.5. So our bust is 34 divided by 6 plus 1.5, 7 inches. So our armhole depth is 7 inches plus our shoulder slope is 8 inches. So we're going to draw a straight line. We're coming down by our shoulder slope 1 inches. So the next thing is to get our neckline 3 by 3. I told us we can use our hands, our free hand to connect it if you don't have armhole curve. But if you have your armhole curve, you can make use of it. And connect. So our neckline like so. So the next thing we shall be doing here is to get our nipple to nipple measurements. Our nipple to nipple measurement is 3.25. These are nipple to nipple measurement. The next thing we shall be taking our vertical measurement, our bust point measurement, which is 10 inches. Our half length, which is our waist, 16 inches. Bust point 10, half length 16. Connect the line together. So the next thing we're going to do, we are going to put our circumference measurements. So on our chest line here, our bust is 8.5. So we are going to put in our circumference measurements like we earlier did on the first method, whereby we were dividing our biggest circumference by 4. In this method we shall be dividing it by 2. So how do we get our bust measurements? This formula states that front bust, the formula says bust divided by 2 plus 1.5 or 1 inches. So in this case, how are you going to know the formula to use? Either 1.5 or 1 inches. You check the bust and the under bust of the person. If the bust point of that fellow, my under bust is 28, it's the same as my waist. So if you check the difference between bust and waist, if their difference is more than 6, that means the person is busty. You can use 1.5. But if the person difference between under bust and the bust measurement is not more than, you use 1 inches. So in this formula now, the one we're going to choose is 1 inches. Now my bust divided by 2 plus 1 inches. Now my bust is 34. My bust is 34 divided by 2 is equals to 17 inches plus 1, where we have 18 inches. Now 18 divided by 2. 18 divided by 2, we are having 9 inches. So my bust measurement now is 9. My front bust FB now is 9 inches. Now we are repeating the same thing on this place. These are bust points, these are waist, and these are chest line. Now on our waist measurement, shall be repeating the same process. We say our waist front FW, front waist, is equals to waist divided by 2 plus 0.5. Now our waist measurement is what? Our waist measurement is 28 inches. So 28 divided by 2 is equals to 14 plus 0.5. We have 14 is equals to 14.0 it's equals to 14.5. Now our waist divided by 2. 14.5 divided by 2 will now give you 14.5. You can use your tape. Divide by 2, we have 7.25. So on our waist measurements, we shall be having 7.25. So now we're going to connect this line together. So if you look at this shape, it's not fine or it's not okay. Now we're going to do something to it. We're going to impute our dart intake. Like in the first method, we take our dart by removing half inch from the dart leg. But in this method, we are going to repeat whatever we have on our chest line. We'll repeat it on our waist. So the remaining measurement is what we're going to take in as our dart. So we repeat the 9 inches here. We'll connect it. We're going to connect it upward. So you see, we now have a straight line, but there's an allowance here. This allowance now we're going to take from on our dart leg is what we're going to share on our dart leg. What we have here is 1.5, so we're going to share 1.5 on this leg. When you divide 1.5 by 2, you have 0.75 on each leg of the dart. 0.75, 0.75. We're going to connect it to our bust point. So now we have taken away our darts. Like I told us, I said the first formula, I remove 0.5 on each of the dart leg. But in this formula is whatever you have remaining here is what you will share on your dart leg. Now we move to our armhole curve. How do we curve our armhole? In the first formula, I said we are going up by 2.5. But in this formula, how to curve our armhole is you will divide whatever you have by 2. Divide whatever you have by 2. This is 7. By 2 is 3.5. Now on this line, you're going to minus 2 inches to get your curve. You're going to minus 2 inches. That's 14 minus 2. Will give us 12 inches. So 12 divided by 2. We are having 6 inches. You measure your 6 inches like so. You mark it. So on this line now, we're going to measure our 6 inches on this line. So this is where, so you will bring your armhole curve like so. I'm going to connect it like so. So this is how to create an armhole curve in this method. Now we are moving to our back pattern. So we are going to repeat the same thing. We are starting from our shoulder, which is 14 inches. Divide by 2 will be 7. Now to get our armhole length, we're going to add 1 inches to your armhole. My armhole is 7 inches plus 1 to give us 8 inches. So we're going to connect this line also. Now our shoulder slope is 1 inches, and our neckline, I'll be using 3 by 1. Connect our shoulder slope like so. Now to take our vertical measurements, our back half length is 14 inches. Then our bust point is 10 inches. We're going to have our lines connected together. Now, the same method is applicable to the back. Now, to get our back bust, you know, on this chest line, this is our chest line. We always impute our bust measurement on this chest line. And to get our back bust, our BB is equals to bust divided by 2 minus 1 or 1.5, but you know we use 1 instead of 1.5. You know why we're not using 1.5? You know why we're using 1, right? Because the person is not, because I'm not busty, right? That's why I'm using 1 inch. So my bust is 34 divided by 2 is equals to 70 minus 1. It's going to give us 16 inches. Now 16 inches divided by 2 is what we're going to impute here. We have 8 inches. So on our chest line, we are going to impute our bust measurement. We have 8 inches. Now we're going to impute our waist measurements. Our waist, same formula we're going to use. So our BW, which is our back waist, is equals to our BW is equals to waist divided by 2 minus 0.5. So and our waist is 28 inches. So our BW is equals to 28 divided by 2 which will give us 14 minus 0.5, which will give us 13.5. 13.5 divided by 2, that is what we're going to impute here. 13.5 divided by 2, we have 6.75. so we are imputing our 6.75 like so. So we are going to connect, and I told us this bus point line, this bus point, this waist, whatever you have here, you repeat it here. We have 8 inches here. So we have our straight line. You know our line is not always straight, and you know the reason why. So to get our back nipple to nipple measurements, we're going to add half inches to it. I said our nipple to nipple measurement is 3.25 plus 0.5, so that when you finish sewing your clothes, the back dress, the back dash should not be too close. That's why we are adding half inches to it. So we are having 0.5, 3.25 plus 0.5, we are having 3.75. so our back dart now is going to be 3.75. So 3.75, you know how we always impute our darts, right? So we are repeating whatever we have here on our waist to get our dart intake. What we have on our chest line is 8 inches. That's our bust measurement. That's what I repeated on our waist, and I'll be connecting it like so. So whatever you have here, you divide it by 2, you share it on your dart leg. What do we have? We have 1 inches. So we are going to share this 1 inches on our dart leg. Then we have 0.5, 0.5. I'll be connecting it to our bust point. Now there's something I want, so let me cut our back and front pattern. These are front, and these are front, these are back pattern. So if you could remember what we did in our first method, there's something we call bust darts. That is the difference between your front and back. The difference between my front and back is 2 inches. So I'm bringing it on my bust point here. My 2 inches is here, and I'll be connecting it back to my bust point. And I told us that to close one dart, you must open one dart. Another thing again I wanted to show us, I didn't remember to show us in the first pattern. So is this our neckline? If you're not comfortable with this neckline that is too small, you can alter your neckline to any measurement of your choice. You can make it 4 by 5, you can make it anything of your choice. So before you close one dart, you must open one dart. So our method of closing still remains the same. If you can see, our line is not straight, so I'll straighten it. I'll be using our selective. get our back armhole curve is your shoulder minus 1 inches. Remember our front armhole curve was shoulder minus 2 inches. So for the back we are minusing 1 inches from our shoulder. Our shoulder is 14 inches minus 1 will be giving us 13. And how do you get? You divide whatever you have by 2. So whatever you have on this line, we're going to impute our, I said to get your back armhole curve, you divide your shoulder, you minus 1, your shoulder minus 1. And when you minus 1 from our shoulder is 14 minus 1, we're having 13. 13 divided by 2 give us 6.5. And 6.5 is here. So you bring your armhole curve and connect whatever you have. So we now have our back armhole curve. Now repeat the same thing at the front. Go up by ½ inches, connect it back to your neckline. You repeat the same procedure and this will place another pattern beneath it and repeat what we did at the first method. So we've come to the end of today's class. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video.